Hello! Hiyo! Hi everyone! My name is Zelda. I'm a freelance illustrator and I also make comics. And here today we're going to do a little quick art tip about how to draw. Wait, where's my panel? Oh, here. Jianyang! How I draw expressions. This topic is voted by my patrons this month, so I'm gonna go over quickly. I'm not really. I don't think I'm really good at explaining how to draw things, so I'll try my best. I have prepared some materials from my past Patreon reward. This is from a previous art tip from 2020 December. I decided to share with you guys how I draw expressions. Started with a neutral face. Here I say pay attention to small details. Changes such as narrowing of the eyes, wrinkle of the nose, corner of the mouth. All the small detail will help make the subtle changes in your expressions. Overall, the general rule is you contract the features for expressions such as anger, irritation, frustration, anything that's require lots of strength. When you go you go something like that, and then you expand the features for more relaxed, happy, or maybe surprised expressions. Well, I hope the background music isn't too loud. Holy. Yeah. And there are other examples. There's another example. Contract. And relax, expand. Don't be afraid to add wrinkles to the skin to further show the contraction. Like when you go and also make use of shadow, sweat, effect lines for other types of expressions. Here, if you're shouting or any other expression that requires your mouth to open up wide, and be mindful of the jaw lines or the jawbone, jawline when you draw this line. And make sure it's actually opening up. Some exceptions are like stylized cartoons. You can actually have the face, but just make the mouth bigger. There's some exceptions. Depends on what kind of style you want to draw. So I have another example. You can start with very simple faces, kind of like the emoji. Very simple ones just to capture the expression. And then you can always go back and add more detail to make the face more realistic or more detailed. Depends on what kind of style you want to draw. Also, push and stretch the shape for more impact. So this is angry. This face is already angry. But you see, when you push the shape more, it looks even angrier. Right? So over here, what I did was just stretch the mouth, make the mouth bigger. Gah! And maybe exaggerate eyebrow. makes it look even more angry. And for sad, this one looks sad. But if you want it to look really sad or crying really hard, you can add some wrinkles, stretch the shape of the mouth, make the teardrops bigger, stuff like that. Other things, other little tip that could help, observing real life will help. Just do it carefully, or don't do it too obviously, so people don't think of you as a stalker for looking at them. Or you can study like drama. Like when you see a show with really good acting, pay attention to what makes it good. Like what they do with their face. Like what kind of face they're making when they are going through certain emotion. Or you can study other art. Say when you come across a drawing, or when you read a manga or comic, you feel like this part really touches me. Like this part's so emotional. How are they drawing the face? How did the artist draw the face? You can study that too. A lot of times, even adding a few lines can make very subtle changes. Like over here, this example. Just by adding a bit of a wrinkle line, you can see the expression changed from maybe a neutral or indifference to, who knows, slightly irritated, or maybe holding back, trying not to cry. So there are subtle expression changes, and there are dramatic expression changes. Now let's open a new file and do some examples. Let's say we start with a face. I remember one of my patrons said, maybe talk about how to make both sides of the face the same. I think the patron has trouble, probably had trouble making it symmetrical, maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but I think one way to do that would be zoom out and keep it loose at first. Keep your sketch loose, because this way you can see the whole picture. You can have guidelines to help you. Guidelines to keep, say, both sides of the eyes leveled. Now, let's start with a neutral expression. We can always start with placing the nose, because the nose is in the center of the face, and usually the nose is like, it doesn't move, or it has the least movement out of all the facial features. So you can always expect the nose to be where it's supposed to be, and it'll what's that called? It can indicate the direction of your face right away. For example, if I draw, here's a little, this is not really about expressions, but I guess it's like a quick tip. Ears and nose. When we put the nose here, you can see that's like a straight on direction. But if I put the nose here, what's happening? My character is looking up. Right? If I put the nose here, the character is looking down. So nose is, you can usually start with the nose. Another reason to always start with the nose is that the eyes and the mouth are always in about the same distance away from the nose. It's the center of the facial feature. So if once you have the nose, you can figure out where to put the eyes and the mouth. Look to the left, or look to the right. So start with your nose could help having balanced facial feature, because if you start with, say, the left eye and then the right eye, and then you put the nose, sometimes it might be a bit off. It could work, of course, but sometimes it might be off. Or if you spend too much time zooming in, focused on drawing one eye, and then you try to do the other eye. If you're too focused into in one of the facial feature, I zoom in is like when you focus too much on, even on paper. This is what happens when you focus on one feature too much, and then when you sit back and look at the whole thing, it's like the two sides look different. Something like that happens. So let's zoom out or sit back. Don't focus too much on one feature. Let's go back to this. Oh, I meant to do a neutral expression. Neutral expression. So I'm working on both sides kind of at the same time. Not exactly the same time, but back and forth to keep them balanced or similar size, shape. This way it could be, you can avoid the two sides being totally different or crooked or looking different. Okay, so now we have a neutral face. I'm not gonna I'll do a little bit. I was gonna say I'm not gonna do too much with the hair because we're focusing on expressions today. Let's do a quick short hair. Okay, so now we have a face. Now to make it angry, let me think. Should I copy and paste or draw another one? I think I'll copy and paste to save time. Alright, to make it angry, let's start over. I'm gonna leave the nose in the same place, but maybe add a little bit wrinkle here. First thing first, most obvious one usually we all do eyebrow, right? Angry eyebrow. Angry brows. But still, you see I'm going back and forth, working on both sides. So not focus on one side only. And you can look at your drawing, see, should I change the eyes? This is one angry face, but maybe you can make it even more angry by changing the eyes a little bit. Maybe shrink the iris a little bit. I was gonna say shrink the eyeball, but the eyeball's the whole thing. And yeah. So remember, add wrinkles. Don't be afraid to add wrinkles. And mouth, most definitely. There's different ways depending on what kind of expression you want. It could be shouting, so open up. Grrr, shouting. Or maybe it's this kind of angry. Biting. Grrr. You're biting, grrr. Right? So yeah, you can explore different features, different shapes. Look at lots of drawings or study actual real life expressions. Use references. That's pretty much the same as using references. Or study your own face in the mirror. That's the easiest. If you are a rather expressive person, you can make those expressions and draw from your own face. Free reference right in front of you. Now let's do a happy one. So how do we change from this neutral expression to a happy expression? Wait. Oh, by the way, the mouth, I made it uneven on purpose. This is sometimes we're not always like symmetrical. In real life, we do this a lot. Like your mouth is like tilted, crooked, so you don't have to make sure the both sides are exactly the same size. So yeah, you could have a little imbalance. Now happy. Happy, remember earlier the tip? Expand. So make it looking more relaxed. There are different levels of happy. This could be more of a kind of content, relaxed, calm, kind of happy. Move the lower eyelid. Lower eyelid? Is that what it's called? Like this part, the lower lid. You can make it go up a little bit to create that smiling eyes. Some people when they smile, their eyes do this. So this is one way to make your face look happy. Happy. And of course there's other kind of happy. They're really happy. You can make the mouth big. Maybe I'll make another one. Cause I kinda like this face. I'm gonna keep this one. So let's make another one. Another happy. I'll make it smaller. Like a variation of happy. You can close the eyes and totally close the eyes. Again, see how I keep going back and forth both sides? This is one way to make sure your both sides of the feature are balanced to an extent. And I'm not changing the angle of the face, but sometimes when you're happy, your face tends to tilt upwards more when you're happy. Usually, not always. Like when we laugh, usually we go like no, you don't go. I mean, kinda. Usually you like open up, and when you're angry, you usually go like you contract. Your facial feature contract. So I'm gonna move the nose up a little bit it's kind of like the head tilts up a little bit. Now let's select both sides at the same time. This way, we make more room for the mouth to open up. Oh wait, that's why I moved it up. Sorry. A lot of times I draw these things, but I don't think about it. So these art tip videos are gonna help me try to put them in words too. So that's why I had to move it up. Yeah, because your mouth is opening up. So like this. The side view. Where usually, say this, a nose. This is normal. When your mouth opens up, what happens? This happens, right? It's gonna tilt up a little bit. Right? Open. You see what's happening? It's like so obvious, so natural, but I was like, why? Well, I didn't think about it. So yeah, that's why. Open up, move these up. I'm moving it up, but when you're drawing it, I guess you keep in mind that just when you're drawing it from nothing, from scratch, you would just draw it a little bit higher. Draw the eyebrows a little higher. I'm making another quick one, so it's gonna be messy. Right, higher. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Alright, I'm gonna erase this. And sometimes when maybe you laugh a lot, so your face get a bit flushed. So yeah, don't be afraid to add some oops, I erased too much. Add some effect lines. Oh, even when you're angry, you can add some like shading here. It's kind of like when you're angry, maybe your face, maybe you are looking down a little bit. Say like when you're angry, you go like this. Like when you're angry, you go, your head tilt down a little bit, usually, right? Negative expression, negative emotions. Usually we tilt our head down. I don't know why. I think that happens a lot. I think rarely we have like. Oh wait, we do, but let me think. Example of this is like when you're shouting, I guess. Shouting. But unless you're looking up at someone, I think most cases when we get angry, when a character gets angry from neutral, I'm thinking sorry, from neutral expression to getting angry, I think the natural movement will be looking down a little bit. Tilt down, not look down. The head usually tilts down a little bit. From neutral. That's not important actually. That doesn't matter. I'm just give you an example why sometimes we add a little shading here to make it look more dramatic. I'm not saying your character has to look down when they're angry. Ignore me. So yeah, just some example how to make it more effective or dramatic. Okay, what else? What other? Oh, sad. Let's do sad. So we have, let me move this up. We have neutral, angry, happy. Let me group these. Let's move this over here. Let's make a sad. Oh, I need to copy that again. Copy and paste to save time. You may have noticed, I'm doing this video kind of like my live stream. I don't intend on doing any edits, so that's why. I'm sorry if there are like useless information or when I'm just rambling. Haha, I try to practice how to talk better. Okay, here we go. Sad, the most typical one. Eyebrow, right? We start with eyebrow. Sad eyebrows. So instead of a neutral, we change to sad. Now there are different ways to show different kind of sad. This one could be just a bit, oh, I'm feeling sorry, right? Or disappointment. Maybe just slightly disappointed. So not extremely sad. This could be, and sometimes you can have a mix of expressions, like maybe a bit a smile, but a sad eyebrow can give you one kind of expression. I'm not gonna say what. You can, I guess you can perceive this on your own, however you wanna take it. So there's one type, or you make it sad by even using the folds on the eyelid. Even this line down here. And then push the eyebrow shape or yeah, shape to make it even more sad. Maybe the eyes. And you can add a little bit of wrinkles here if they are about to cry. You know, when you cry, your eyes do these movements. The mouth could be a simple or opening up. Like this kind of sad mouth. Or they could be sad and angry at the same time, so they're shouting. Oh, by the way, remember earlier the jawline thingy? If we're not moving the top and they're shouting, we need to move the jawline. Move it down a little bit. Shouting. I think that's a bit crooked. Wait. Or add a little bit of wrinkle to the nose. Or maybe they're sad and they're just going. Maybe they're not saying anything. They're just biting down their lip. Bite your lip, so that's why these lines are here. Here's an example of sad. You can add tears, of course. This is how I draw tears. You don't have to do exactly the same way I'm doing it, but yeah. So we have tears. Alright, now we have... Oh wait, wet eye. Wet eyes. Could be a little bit sparkly, because the inside there is water. Could be. These are personal preference. You don't have to do the same. So compared to regular, normal eyes, a lot more lines. Shiny spots going on. Anyway, so we have neutral. Oh, I didn't even shade the first one. Didn't even shade the neutral one. Anyway, neutral, angry, happy, and sad. Is there any other expression? Let me think. I think that's enough for now. For our first art tip video. Right? I hope that was helpful. So you can start practicing. Remember to study, read your reference if you get stuck. Yeah. Hope you have fun drawing. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Zelda. You can find me by visiting my website zeldacw.com. Wait, find me? No, find out more about me. Find my art, look at my art and stuff if you're interested. I also do live stream regularly. Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Hope you have fun drawing. Take care, everyone. Zelda is out. Whee!